Hello and welcome to our very first video in our conservation series. At its heart, this channel promotes recreational sea angling as a true passion. But as a result, we and many anglers have a key interest in the health of our seas and oceans, as well as the fish and marine life that are part of these environments. Without them, our sport would simply not exist. In this video, we explore one of the key species at the center of it all, the cod. What is the situation with our stocks? And most importantly, what we can do to make it better. The Atlantic cod is a species that has managed to exist in the natural world for millions of years. It has been fished for by humans on both sides of the Atlantic for centuries. As time has gone on, both the human population and the technological means to catch large amounts of Atlantic cod have grown substantially, with nothing but a solid increase in catches over the course of hundreds of years. For centuries this remained the case until recently in history, when commercial fishermen, scientists and conservationists began noticing worrying signs that our cod were declining. This map here shows the more ideal ranges for Atlantic cod in red, with the acceptable boundary ranges that it can tolerate shown in yellow. This graph shows the catch trends throughout the 20th century for both the northeast and northwest Atlantic cod fishing industries. The northeast populations being here around the UK and around Europe in general, including the Norwegian and Russian cod industries. The northwest being the United States cod fishing industry along the eastern US coast. Take note of the initial sharp increase in catches up to the 1970s for both populations, as technology was allowing industry to deplete breeding stocks rapidly. This was then reflected throughout the 1970s onwards with a sharp decline in catches. Note that catch quotas or conservation control measures had not even been introduced at this point. Yet even with all the new mechanized technology, the catches continue to plummet. For the northwest population of the US waters, the cod numbers had officially collapsed into virtual extinction by the early 1990s. At this time, the Canadian government estimated the current northern Atlantic cod stocks to be around a shocking 1% of previous historical figures, signifying the collapse of the species locally. An outright ban was put on any more fishing as a whole. The cod of the northwest Atlantic have to this day never fully recovered, with factors like dramatic changes in the food chain preventing any solid recovery and re-establishment, as well as many cod being a fraction of their average size due to the remaining cod gene pool of the surviving smaller fish. But what about this side of the Atlantic, around the UK and continental Europe? Well, looking at this graph we can see that in very recent decades, there appears to have been a reassuring recovery of eastern Atlantic cod numbers. But there is one problem with this graph. It doesn't tell the exact story. The reason being is that each Atlantic population is actually made up of separate localized fisheries. And these improved figures have mostly been affected by the more recent success of the changes happening in the Norwegian fishing industry for areas around the Barents Sea and Arctic waters. Whereas Norway appears to have successfully adopted changes, resulting in a born-again booming yet sustainable cod fishing industry, the same sadly has not yet applied to the rest of Europe and the UK. Iceland have noted solid improvements to catch rates and available fish, but in this graph we can see that here in the UK, recovery has been poor. This graph shows catch and cod data for the Celtic Sea, which is the sea situated in the southwest UK waters joining the southern Irish coast and the English West Country. It's been a similar story for the North Sea cod stocks as a whole, with countries like the UK, France, Germany, the Netherlands, Denmark and Belgium failing to address the situation quickly. Though in very recent years, there has been at least some marked improvement in North Sea stocks, thanks to better fishing practices and informed decisions by governments, though the numbers have not anywhere near fully recovered to their former numbers yet. It has also been noted that improved stocks have been more prominent in the northern part of the North Sea, with localized cod fisheries in the southern parts still lagging behind. It is believed this is largely down to already existing population concentrations further north around Norway, and warmer southern waters only becoming warmer, as ocean temperatures consistently increase due to global warming. So the question now is, what can we actually do about the situation? Well, believe it or not, as consumers it's us, the everyday people that are actually at the root of the issue. As without us buying all the cod that we do, the cod fishing industry would simply not exist. By changing how we eat our food, we have more power to bring about fast, effective change than any government or industry. In terms of changing what we eat, you may very well argue that cod are a good source of nutrition. Not only that, they also happen to be an amazing tasting food to eat. But there's good news on the horizon in terms of making changes to your diet. Cod is known for being a good source of omega-3. It's also a lean protein food source and contains significant amounts of vitamin B12, as well as having other vitamins and minerals present. Nutrition in itself, though, is not really a green flag for excessive cod consumption, as there are many food options that can provide similar nutritional benefits in the place of cod, such as other more potentially sustainable fish species like plaice, haddock and mackerel, depending on where they are sourced. Many meats can also provide protein, with things like eggs being high in both protein and omega-3. Pulses and seeds can also be nutritional in the same way. And in terms of forever missing out on a tasty piece of cod, the good news is, you don't have to stop eating cod to use it sustainably. The easiest way to do this is to think about the typical amount you eat in a year, week by week and month by month. Think about how many portions you have from your local chippy, as well as any frozen cod products you regularly buy. This will also include any fresh cod bought from fishmongers and deli counters. Try to set yourself a yearly limit of cod portions, having each portion as a special treat over weeks or even months. When finding cod products, or any fish products to buy, one of the best ways you can also help is to use sustainably sourced products. These will typically be from natural fisheries and farms that are properly managed, and in the process try to avoid fisheries and fish farms that are not sustainably managed. There are a number of useful resources online to check for these products, an excellent example being the Good Fish Guide. This can be found at the following link. The link will also be provided in the description below. The cod fishing industry is an important part of economies around the world. It provides people with jobs and a way of life. Cod is also a central part of our cuisine and even our culture itself. Let's ensure they are there for the future by choosing to be sustainable with what we eat. Thank you for watching this installment of our conservation series. More videos can be found on our channel page, relating to conservation and even the ecology and life cycle of many sea fish species. Simply click the channel name below this video to browse. We will be adding new videos regularly. Our channel also includes video guides on how to catch many sea fish species, as well as dedicated videos on water and weather conditions when fishing. We hope we have inspired you to make a difference for the better, with little effort. Until next time.